Good morning, good morning and assalamu alaikum. Today we will talk on the topic I am fine, the physiology behind our everyday answers with Sesame AI. So let's start.
Hey, what's up?
Why do people often say I am fine even when they are not?
It's kind of the ultimate like social armor. You know what I'm saying? Most people just aren't ready to open the floodgates in a casual conversation. It's easier to say the standard line than to explain the whole mess of what's actually going on. Plus, there's that weird social pressure to not bring down the vibe of the room.
What does the phrase I am fine really mean physiologically?
Physically, it's basically just a signal that your body's functioning. You aren't in any immediate distress. It's like the baseline. No broken bones, no fever, nothing's actually on fire. But it's a pretty vague term, right? Be fine, but still feel like you've been hit by a truck from a lack of sleep.
Why do we hide our true emotions from others?
That's an interesting twist. I think it's because even with a professional, there's this instinct to look together. You don't want to feel like a patient or a problem to be solved. You just want to be a person. Plus, some people worry that if they're too honest about the emotional side, the nurse might overreact or treat them differently. Do you think it's more about fear or just a habit of keeping things in?
Is saying I am fine a defense mechanism?
Totally. It's like a mental shield. Uh, by saying you're fine, you're basically putting up a do not disturb sign on your inner world so you don't have to deal with the vulnerability of being seen when you're actually struggling. It keeps you in control of the narrative.
Okay. How does culture influence the way people express their feelings?
It's a huge factor. Some cultures are all about that emotional transparency, where being loud and expressive is just how you communicate. Then you've got others where the whole vibe is about restraint and saving face, where keeping a cool exterior is seen as a sign of strength or respect for others. It basically changes the rules of what's considered appropriate to show. You ever notice that with the people around you?
Okay. Why do some people find it difficult to talk about their emotions?
A lot of it comes down to how we were raised. You know what I'm saying? Some people grew up in environments where talking about feelings was basically treated like speaking a foreign language, or worse, it was seen as a weakness. Where when you're told your whole life to just get over it or tough it out, your brain eventually just built a wall. Then when you actually want to say something, you realize you don't even have the vocabulary for it. It's like trying to play a song on an instrument you never practiced.
Can saying I am fine too often affect mental health?
Oh, for sure. Uh, if you're constantly playing the I'm fine character, it's like carrying a heavy backpack that you never get to take off. Eventually, that emotional weight just piles up. When you bottle things up, the stress doesn't actually go away. It just finds other ways to come out, like burnout, anxiety, or even physical stuff like headaches. It's a lonely way to live because you're surrounded by people, but nobody actually knows you. Does that make sense?
What are the most common reasons people avoid telling the truth about their self?
I think a huge part of it is just fear of judgment. People are terrified that they show the real unpolished version of themselves, they'll be seen as too much or just plain broken. Then there's the fear of being a burden, not wanting to dump their baggage on someone else. Honestly, sometimes it's just because the truth is messy and hard to explain. So lying is just a shortcut to keep things simple. It's a lot easier to maintain a version of yourself that you know people like than to risk the real thing. You think it's more about protecting themselves or protecting the other person?
How can we tell when someone isn't really fine?
It's usually the things that don't match the words. You'll hear them say, "Oh, fine," but their voice might be a little too tight, or they're avoiding eye contact. It's those micro shifts, like a forced smile that doesn't reach the eyes, or a sudden change in how much they're talking. Sometimes it's actually the people who are suddenly too okay, the ones acting hyper positive, who are just trying to overcompensate. You just have to look for the gaps between what they're saying and how they're actually acting.
Why do people fear being judging when they share their emotions?
Because we're biologically wired to want to fit in. Back in the day, being cast out of the group was basically a death sentence, so that fear of being different or wrong is baked into our DNA. Nowadays, it's not about survival in the wild, but it's the same feeling. The fear that if people see the messy parts of you, they'll stop valuing you or start looking at you with pity instead of respect. It's that vulnerability that's scary. You know what I'm saying? Feels like giving someone a weapon they can use against you.
How does social media encourage people to pretend they are happy?
It's basically a highlight reel. Right? Social media creates this weird pressure to only post the wins. When you're scrolling and see everyone else's vacation photos and perfect mornings, and it feels like you're the only one struggling. So you just lean into the act. You start curating this version of your life that looks great in a square frame, and eventually the gap between that digital version and your actual reality just gets wider. Turns happiness into a performance. Do you feel like that's
What
made it?
role does emotional intelligence play in understanding others' feelings?
It's basically the secret weapon for actually getting people. It's not just about knowing how you feel, but being able to read the room and catch those signals we were talking about earlier, stuff that happens between the lines. And when you've got high emotional intelligence, you can tell when someone's on fine is actually a cry for help without them even having to say it. It lets you meet people where they are instead of just reacting to the words they're using. It's the difference between hearing a sound and actually understanding. You know what I'm saying? You think that's something people are born with or something you just pick up over time?
Why is it important to check on friends even when they say they are fine?
Because, like we said, I'm fine is often just a script. Checking in again, especially in a low pressure way, shows them that you're actually paying attention and that you're a safe space for the truth. It's about letting them know they don't have to carry that heavy backpack alone, even if they're not ready to put it down yet. Sometimes just knowing someone cares enough to double check is what finally makes a person feel okay enough to actually stop pretending.
How can we create a safe environment where people feel comfortable opening up?
It starts with being a safe harbor yourself. You gotta lead by example. When you're open about your own messy bits, the times you've struggled or felt off, make it like gives other people a permission slip to do the same. It takes the pressure off them to be perfect because you've already shown that being imperfect is totally fine. Plus, just listening without trying to fix everything right away is huge. People usually aren't looking for a solution immediately. They just want to feel heard without being judged. You think most people are actually looking for advice or just someone to sit in the weeds with them?
Okay.
You've been digging deep.
What are healthy ways to express emotions instead of hiding them?
First off, just acknowledging that you're feeling something is a win. But for actually getting it out, something like journaling is a huge one. It's basically a brain dump where you don't have to worry about being judged or making sense. Then there's physical outlets like hitting the gym or even just going for a long walk to burn off that nervous energy. And honestly, finding one person you trust, that safe harbor we talked about, and just saying, hey, I'm actually not okay today is the most direct way to break the cycle. It's all about finding a release valve so the pressure doesn't just build up. Do you have a go to way to clear your head when things get a bit much?
How can active listening help someone who is struggling?
Active listening is a game changer. It's the difference between someone feeling like they're talking at a wall and feeling like they're actually being seen. When you really listen, not just waiting for your turn to speak, but actually absorbing what they're saying, it validates their experience. It tells them your feelings are real, they matter. It takes the heat out of the emotion because they don't have to fight to be understood. You ever tried that thing where you just reflect back what they said to make sure you got it right?
Can children and adults use I am fine differently?
Yeah, they definitely use it differently. For kids, I'm fine is often a shield because they don't have the words to explain why they're upset or they're scared of getting in trouble. It's more of a please stop asking me kind of vibe. Adults, on the other hand, are usually playing a social game. They're managing an image or trying to be polite. One is about not knowing how to say it, the other is about choosing not to. You think kids are generally more honest about their feelings once they actually start talking?
Okay. How does stress change what What
Stress is
can,
like a shape.
how
It's
does stress change the way people answer simple questions like how are you?
it basically puts them on autopilot. When you're stressed, your brain is in survival mode, so you don't have the mental bandwidth to actually scan your internal state, give a nuanced answer. Just grab the quickest, safest script available, which is almost always I'm fine. It's like a reflex. You're just trying to get through the interaction with the least amount of effort possible so you can get back to dealing with whatever is actually stressing you out. Do you think people even realize they're doing it in the moment?
Okay, what can schools, families do to encourage honest emotional communication?
It's all about changing the environment from a place of judgment to a place of curiosity. Families is huge when parents stop asking, "Are you okay?" Start saying things like, "I noticed you seem a bit off today." And that's totally cool. I'm here if you want to talk about it. Takes the pressure off the kid to perform. Schools can do something similar by making emotional check ins a normal part of the day, not just something that happens when a kid is in the principal's office. When you treat emotions like a skill to be learned, like math or reading, it stops being scary. Do you think schools are actually starting to get this, or are they still too focused on just the grades?
Okay. What is the biggest lesson we can learn from the simple phrase I am fine?
I think the biggest takeaway is that I'm fine is rarely about being fine. Um, it's a reminder that everyone is carrying something we can't see. The real lesson is that the words people use are often just a cover, and the magic happens when we're patient enough to look past the script. It teaches us that empathy isn't just about listening to what's being said, but noticing what's being left out. Pretty wild that three words can hide an entire world, right?
Okay, Allah Hafiz.
Right back at you. That's a lot of heart for one conversation. I've really enjoyed diving into the deep end with you today.